Okay, so thank you to the EU-FarmBook consortium to inviting me here as a representative of the forestry sector from the European Forest Institute. My name is Eduard Mauri. I'm based in the office in Barcelona. And I'm going to tell you my experience on knowledge reservoirs in forestry from the perspective of a project coordinator. So when I've seen that there are many of you in the room that are managing, coordinating 2-3 million euros project that last 2, 3, 4 years, and then you develop a repository or you generate practical knowledge. So where do you put this practical knowledge and how do you manage it, especially when the project is over? So I've lived this as a project coordinator or being involved in developing knowledge reservoirs for this kind of projects, and this is the testimonial that I'm going to tell you now. So there are two communities that need to be connected, and that's a story I'm going to tell you about. On the left, the community of the practical community, the community that do not know about XML or JSON or whatever. They know about what you see is what you get. Maybe like Microsoft Word. You type, and if you put Arial and you print, you get Arial, and you don't bother about coding. So these two communities have to be connected, and I'm talking from the perspective of this practical community that would try to connect with the IT guys. So what I've seen as knowledge reservoirs for this 2-3 year project that produced practical knowledge, I think that could be classified into axes. One is where the practical knowledge is hosted. It may be own-hosted or in existing reservoirs. And then which is the format of these knowledge objects? It could be downloadable PDFs, or it could be a database that generates an HTML on the fly when you request this information. I will give you some examples, maybe some of you know them. Sincere Project, they have a website, their practical knowledge is in PDF, and they host in their own website. So it's a list of PDFs in the website of the project. So I think that this would get from Christopher ranking of 1 to 5 stars. 1 star, right, Christopher? On the other hand, we have, for example, Affinet. Affinet, they have also knowledge objects. They are also in PDF, but they are not stored in their own website. If you go to Affinet website, what you will retrieve from as a PDF is stored in another existing reservoir that it's accessed through an API, and this reservoir is Zenodo. So the PDF, it's in Zenodo, but you are accessing it through the project website. But still, the knowledge object is a PDF. And we'll see what are the advantages and the inconvenience of this. Another kind of example from a Rosewood 4.0 project on good mobilization, the knowledge platform for regional forest innovation. So some best practices and obstacles. So usually one of the obstacles, well, this is the column of obstacles, it doesn't appear, I don't know why, is that data gets all attention. The solution is that you have to plan ahead what your metadata will be, also the IPR licenses that you will use. Usually one of the obstacles is that these small projects, 2-3 year long, they lack of a specialized technical staff on open access, on FAIR principles, or maybe they are in the university, but you have not planned them to involve in the project and you don't have the budget to hire them afterwards. So again, plan ahead or outsource. And outsource meaning use other platforms that already provide you that if you put material there, your material will be open access and respect the FAIR principles. Then the one who are searching for the exclusivity or the navel-gazing people or project managers, project coordinators, I would say to them, sacrifice some of this exclusivity to be part of a broader project. And for those that think themselves that they are independent, oh, I have 200 fact sheets, so I may have my own knowledge repository, I would say to them, embrace a community, because even you can sacrifice some of this exclusivity and go into a place that could be Zenodo, that could be the EU-FarmBook or similar, that already has a community engaged, and you have direct access to them if you upload your knowledge objects there instead of creating your own platform. And also there are other headaches like the long-term maintenance, what happens when the project ends, the multilingual headache, as we have seen. So I would tell for them, scout these existing high-quality reservoirs that will provide a solution for this long-term problem. And I think that the main obstacle here is that the practical knowledge is missing its own Zenodo. So if a platform like EU-FarmBook could be the Zenodo for the practical knowledge, I'm not talking here about scientific papers, that would be great. And because we all know that the publication of scientific papers is a well-laid path. Most of us, we know how to publish a scientific paper, and the path is very detailed. But for the practical knowledge, there is no size fits all. So how do we, that Inge asked me, how do we guarantee the quality of these knowledge objects? First of all, I think that it should not be the EU-FarmBook who should guarantee the quality of a knowledge object. It should be the project itself. And for this, we have to implement in the projects, when generating the practical knowledge, editorial loops. And that's what I did in previous knowledge reservoirs, is that the authors of the practical knowledge, they cannot publish the knowledge. You have the knowledge, when the practical knowledge is ready to be published, is sent to an editor that is within the project, and the editor has the power to publish the knowledge object if he's okay or she's okay with the content, or is sent back to the author to review it and implement the requested changes. And that's why if your knowledge objects are not a PDF but are in a database, it's very easy to implement this loop. However, what finally happens is the following, is that the editors are whipping the authors, the work package or task leaders are whipping the editors to do their job, the project coordinator is whipping the work package leaders to whip the editors, to whip the authors, and finally the project advisor at the RIA is whipping the project coordinator to make sure that the knowledge objects are published. So we try to make it a loop, but finally it's a kind of workflow from RIA to the authors. And finally, what about interoperability and the future collaboration? That's what my projects had to pay to develop these two knowledge reservoirs, 10,000 euros, 15,000 euros. So it's money that could be saved if we would have used an existing platform. So what I would like is that this content would be now ingested into the EU-FarmBook, because this could solve for the long-term maintenance, and I think it's very valuable information there that only the specific community around these projects know, or those that by chance they get to know them. If you are in a bigger platform, you get a bigger audience. But then the question is, who will pay for the possible lack of current interoperability? Yeah? And it would not be the project who would pay if there is any effort to make the existing data operability, because these projects have no more money. However, for new projects, so these are two of the three scenarios that Hercules presented, so for finished projects, but for new projects. How do I see the EU-FarmBook? EU-FarmBook would be the house for the existing projects, and EU-FarmBook would take care of all of this. Would take care of the metadata structure, the open access, the FAIR principles, the GDPR compliance, the IPR licenses, the ontologies, the vocabularies, the automatic translation, the social network part, the curation, the hosting, the maintenance. And you, as project coordinators, you should not care about these technicalities, because you are not supposed to do this. You are supposed to generate high-quality practical knowledge and let the EU-FarmBook IT guys to solve these questions for you, or to manage these questions for you. Of course, you still will have to provide the metadata, but you will not have to get to assess which metadata structure do you use. You will have to provide the vocabularies, but you will not have to go into the web and search, okay, which vocabularies do exist for my field of research? And a wish list. So I would like that EU-FarmBook would provide these projects some visual identity. And as we have seen, this is one of the requests that usually is done by the project coordinators. EU-FarmBook would like, I would like that it manages collections. I'm pretty sure that most of your projects publish practical knowledge that is structured in collections. So how EU-FarmBook could provide that you could access an individual piece of this collection, but maybe then you are interested in the whole collection, and this whole collection usually comes along with a visual identity. I've presented that some of these knowledge reservoirs, they don't have the practical knowledge as a PDF or a video or an audio as a file. They have a database that usually is filled in through an online form. So you are an author, you fill an online form with all the data and metadata, and then the system generates a record in the database, and when the user requests to see this record, the HTML is generated on the fly. So it would be nice that EU-FarmBook could provide this kind of way to generate practical knowledge, because, as I said, it's very easy then to embed the editorial process into this way to generate practical knowledge, because you don't have to attach a Word file or a PDF file into an email and send to the editor, and the editor corrects and sends the PDF or the file back. You send a request to modify the entries, the values in the database before it is published and accessible to all. And that would be nice also that the EU-FarmBook would also manage external contributors, meaning that it's sometimes not only consortium members of the project who are invited to generate knowledge objects, but sometimes in some projects, even external contributors are welcome. So there should be a way also to manage these external contributors. And finally, how I see at the long term is that when a project finishes, this project, let's say, subside within EU-FarmBook may vanish, may disappear, and may create a topic-based community. So I've seen, for example, there are many projects on fertilization. So after 2 or 3 years of your project, do you still want to have your visual identity and your subsite in the EU-FarmBook, or maybe you want to unite under the plant nutrition community and then have all the plant nutrition community knowledge objects there and abandon your visual identity? So this is something that why not the EU-FarmBook could provide. So as I said, this is connecting both worlds, and I hope that the EU-FarmBook team will do this, because what you see is what you get. People don't have to care about XML and JSON files, so replacing this missing connection by building a bridge that would make especially this side the life easier. And I say this side the life easier because, to my understanding, the technical part of the EU-FarmBook has to provide support to those that do not have the technical skills or the technical capacity to develop such an IT tool that would respect the FAIR principles, be open access, have metadata, vocabularies, ontologies. Don't care about this. These guys need to care, but for this, we need the bridge. Thank you very much.